All right, Florence, elections in the U.S. getting a lot of attention.
That's right, especially some of the key results in that election. Let's start by looking at the Huffington Post, the welcome page. They take a look at the Democrat Bill de Blasio, elected mayor of New York. They call him America's mayor, and you can see him there giving that speech where he celebrated with his family. Now, Slate takes a closer look at Chris Christie, re-elected governor of New Jersey, and says that his road to the White House now begins. When one election booth closes, another one opens. But they wonder, can he survive his own party? Because on the one hand, he has lots of advantages playing in his favor. He's a media darling. He can raise a lot of money. But according to Slate, he's never been tested. And on top of that, he has a hot head. And he tends to, say what's on his mind. And this could upset a lot of people in his own party.
It's always served him well so far.
So far, it served him
Even
well.
when he's sort of crossed party lines.
Absolutely. But they wonder, does he have what it takes? Does he have what it takes in the long run? Can he sell his story, as Slate says, without biting everyone's head off within his party? Can he last in the long run?
You mentioned the mayor of New York, the mayor-elect of New York, Bill de Blasio. There's another mayor getting a lot of attention. That's Rob Ford, mayor of Toronto. He admitted he did indeed smoke crack cocaine.
That's right, after denying it for a long time. Let's take a look at the Star, which is based in Toronto. They have a quote of him there, ending what they call the 6-month strings of lies. And he says, I embarrassed everyone in the city, but I won't resign. That's the key part of the quote. He says he promises not to make these mistakes again. He's got nothing left to hide. But let's take a look at a cartoon in the Star once again. It turns out that he was actually a liar. This is actually not the right cartoon. You can take a look at it in the Star. They basically say that he is a liar, pants on fire. Now, journalists from the Star originally were behind the story. They were the ones who saw this video of him allegedly smoking crack, said that he had smoked crack.
Oh, there you go. That's
he denied
the
it. This is the... It's not the cartoon. No, this is another cartoon of him caught in a crack pipe there. But they wonder, they ask this question: how do you cover a deceiver without reporting the mistruth? This is a kind of question you could ask in a journalism school, because they say, we knew the truth, we knew that he had smoked crack, but yet we kept reporting quotes of him where he denied it. So in a way, we were participating in what they call his deceptive propaganda. And they say that, was this a right thing to do? Did we deceive readers? Well, they say in the name of fair and responsible journalism, they had to let him make his case, but all this participated in eroding the trust that citizens of Toronto have in politicians and the media.
So the actual newspaper that broke the story now wondering whether they didn't help contribute in actually spreading a mistruth.
Absolutely, that's what they're wondering today.
Yeah, very, very unusual. Moving on to a story now in the French press about 2 explosions in the Israeli city of Ashkelon.
That's right. Ashkelon is located north of the Gaza Strip, and usually when you hear about explosions there, it's because of rockets coming from the Gaza Strip. But this is actually 2 car bombs that were set off by rival mafia gangs. And Le Figaro takes a closer look at mafia violence in Israel, and actually says that since the end of the Second Intifada, mafia violence has killed more Israelis than Palestinian terrorism. And this article takes a closer look at what the authorities are trying to do to fight against mafia violence, and says actually that it's become the top priority of police in Israel.
And also in the region, a cartoon in the International New York Times about relations between Saudi Arabia and the U.S. That's been a hot topic in the news.
That's right. Now, these relations have been strained because of Syria, Egypt, Iran. I'm not having very much luck with the cartoons today.
At some point, you will have to explain what cartoon this is, by the way.
You know what? I'm actually not quite sure. This goes with an article in the International New York Times you can read today. But do open it. There's a great cartoon with John Kerry and Saudi Arabia in it.
All right, and a lot of focus on that art collection that was looted by the Nazis that was found in an apartment in Munich.
That's right. It's an incredible story that's come out this week. Let's take a look at the front page of the International New York Times. You can see some of the photos of those over 1,400 pieces that were found. Now, some of these were unknown pieces that art dealers thought had been lost, pieces by Picasso, Renoir, Chagall, Matisse. So the International New York Times takes a closer look at it. So does the Independent today, because it points it out that now that these works have been discovered, another treasure hunt begins, and that's to find the owners of these pieces of work, because these pieces of work were looted by the Nazis. They were either stolen from their Jewish owners or confiscated because they were deemed to be degenerate. So a lot of the question now is, who do these artworks belong to? Because the race against time begins now because some of these owners might still be alive, and so maybe they can get their works back now. It's also in the editorial of The Guardian today that points out that the floodgates have opened, and it points out that this was a really surprising discovery, a wonderful discovery for art owners, because a lot of these pieces, as I said, a lot of people thought they had been lost, forgotten, destroyed, and now they can learn a lot about the artists themselves through these works.
All right, Florence Villemino with that mystery cartoon. It's the mystery of the morning. Thank you very much for the International Press Review. And more news coming up in a few minutes. We'll be heading to Jerusalem's Old City, to one of the holiest sites in the world. Our correspondent asks if it could spark another conflict between Israelis and Palestinians.